They won't know this talent until they've seen it through the eyes of a rebel. Only then will they understand this city's heart. Only then will they feel Vegas' soul. A people captivated, a city united.
左右这个球被抄走，要灌吗？来喽！恐怖！我们再从不同的角度呢做切换的哈。我们这次未来电视网拍摄《琼斯杯》也是全体总动员呢。现场加了非常多的机器，我们再从不同的摄影的角度、摄影师的角度再看一次哦。这在半场结束前贡献了这场比赛目前为止的 Top Play 最佳好球。休息一下再回来。
This video will cover 5 different areas of having a career in sports, ranging from being a head high school basketball coach, head college basketball coach, small college athletic director, a FIBA sports agent overseas, and also a recreation center director. I've also included testimonials on different coaches and players throughout my career to also help give you insight on what it means to being in the world of having a career in sports. Everybody, I hope you enjoy.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Matt Hines. I am the girls head basketball coach here at Huntington North High School, and that is in Huntington, Indiana. How did I get into coaching? You know, I had mentors and people I looked up to when I was in grade school, middle school, high school. And a lot of those guys were my PE teachers and were also coaches. And my coaches really just really invested in me as a person. And I think that's why I knew at an early age that I wanted to coach. Probably you know, getting into my middle years in high school, I had a good idea that I wanted to coach, and I love the game of basketball. And you know, when you're done playing, that's the next thing you can do is start coaching. And I really appreciated how my coaches invested in me as a person, and I wanted to do the same. Things I like about it, you know, it's always a challenge, and I think we grow from challenges. We grow from obstacles that we go through. It's not always fun at the time, but the things I like about coaching is the biggest thing is just the relationships that you build with kids. I've coached boys and girls, and you know, there's differences in both of those. You know, boys typically tend to be more aggressive and can kind of play off of out of a play or a script that you give them, and girls are more probably pleasers and want to do exactly what you tell them, and sometimes they only do exactly what you tell them. But you know, I really like the relationships at the end of the day when those kids come back, or you receive an email, and it doesn't happen a lot, but when it happens, that you know, you helped mold a kid or point them in the right direction in life. I think that's the things I like about it the most. And obviously, like winning, you know, we're all competitive and want to try to find ways to win. So dislikes, you know, there's a lot of sacrifice with family, you know, taken away from family time. And you know, I got 2 young kids, and they're in 2nd and 4th grade, and a wife that let me live my dream every day. And I'm fortunate for that. It doesn't always work out like that for everybody, but I think that's something that is hard, is the sacrifice with family. The most challenging thing about coaching is probably taking a team and trying to find a way to get them to perform at a level that's higher than what they believe that they could perform. And I think that's our job at the beginning of each year. We start in the spring and work towards that whole next year to when we get in the tournament in February or March, and you know, that's your goal, is to get them to do something that they didn't even think they could do, because oftentimes as coaches, and just like my coaches saw in me, they can see more in you than you can see in yourself at times, and I think that's our objective. The people that I think do well in this line of work and coaching are people that are go-getters, that are willing to. I think you have to be a little bit selfish in the sense of with time, investment with kids. I think that's important. I think you have to be on task. I think that you have to be someone that's very organized and has a plan. You can't just go out and roll out and hope things go well. So I think those are the people that really do well. People that have high character and stay poised and don't get rattled. If you wear your emotions on your sleeve all the time in this line of work, it's going to be a short career for you. And then lastly, my ultimate career goal for coaching is just to build champions. That's my goal. I want to build champions, and that's on the court and off the court. And what I found as I coach, the more I coach, the longer I coach, is champions were champions long before they won any championships, and that's how their daily habits are spent. That's how they're ingrained in them, and I think that's our goal and our objective as coaches is to instill this into these kids in life. I've found that when kids have better habits in life, that carries over on the court. The person that they are, you will see on the court, and that's that's important. And those are the kind of things that we try to do. And so, I want to build champions. I want to build a kid that has a championship lifestyle, championship character, makes championship decisions, and by that, I think the byproduct will carry over on the court. You get enough of those kids, then I think you have yourself a championship team that can actually win a championship and cut down some nets. So obviously championships are the goal, but at the end of the day, it's about people, not about players.
Well, I'm excited here to do an interview with Travis McAvene. We go back when he played for me when I was a head coach at age 25 at Indiana Wesleyan University, and look forward to just to give some answers to some questions and to help just people with the profession of coaching basketball. So my name's Scott Bloom, and again, I am the head women's basketball coach at Cumberland University in Nashville, Tennessee, and we're excited to kind of finish up this season. We were receiving votes early in the year. We've had some injuries, but we're going to try to bounce back to finish up the year. How did you get into this line of work? I kind of knew that basketball needed to be something in part of my life. I love the game. I want to give back. I was an Indiana All-Star in 1988 with the likes of Sean Kemp, and then had the opportunity to play at Valparaiso University, and then transferred to a Grace College, a Christian school, NEI, won an NEI national championship in 1992, and then was blessed to play professionally in Portugal. And so while my time in college, I knew I wanted to be a coach, and so I kind of pursued to be a coach, and then the Lord just blessed me and gave me the opportunity to be an assistant at Indiana Wesleyan at age 25. Our head coach resigned at Christmas. I was named interim, and then our team just kind of turned around. We actually won the NCCAA national championship my first year coaching, and then I was asked to be the head coach, and that started my career as a head coach for 25 plus years. What do you enjoy about it the most? It allows me to stay in the game of basketball. Like I said, I've had a passion for it since I've been little. I'm allowed to give back to others this game, teach them the game that I love, and just the X and O's, and probably the biggest thing is just the ability to hopefully impact these young lives, teach them more how to take a jump shot, set a screen, but hopefully that they will be prepared for life through the examples that I set as a role model, and just having my family around when they were little, and see how we balance being a coach, a father, and a husband. And I think those are the most important things that will help young coaches realize that family needs to be first, and then your job second, but you need to put in a lot of time, especially with your family, but then also make sure you put that time in as a coach to make sure your players and your institution knows that that you're all in. What's not so great about it? The problem is to think about this questions. Not so much. There's not a lot that I don't think is great about it. I would say though, in the past 8 years, is trying to encourage my players to become young adults and not allow the parents to dictate or complain about the coaches and they're not doing their job, or they're not very good, or this player should play more, and you should play more. That's probably been the biggest thing that has been discouraging with a lot of coaches. And the thing is, kind of going to profession of teaching too. It's just the parents are trying to get more involved, and I want my young ladies to realize that this is the time that you got to kind of begin to grow as a person, and you come and talk to the coach, and you ask why I'm not playing, or what do I need to do to play more. And so hopefully that will kind of reverse itself here in the next few years to allow coaches to be coached and the players to be coached by us, and allow them to grow as individuals. What's changing in the sector? Interesting question. It almost kind of goes with the one before that, but I think the biggest one that I've talked to my coaching friends at all levels is the entitlement of players' mentality. The days of working hard for 2 years and earning a spot on the floor is kind of over. Parents and players are ready to blame coaches, and they enter the transfer portal. NEI, we don't really have a transfer portal, but kids are transferring right on out as well as the NCAA Division One. We need to get back to working at our game and show the coach that you have to play me because I'm too good to sit on the bench. And I've had boys that played sports. I have a young son right now that's playing in college, and we have those tough conversations. I said, hey, you got to do what you need to do in practice to show the coach that you have to play you. And so that's something that I wish more parents would kind of press towards their players and their own daughters and sons, that hey, you got to work at it. And just seeing some of the great stories. You see that Stetson Bennett, the quarterback of Georgia, and was a walk-on and transfer and all, and now he's won 2 national championships. He took his time and made it happen. And so that's kind of the biggest thing that's probably changed in our sector. What's the most challenging part of your job? I think for me, as I've gotten older, is just worrying about what others think of me. You want to try to please everybody. You're not going to. So as a young coach, you got to be willing to maybe have 10 players love you, 10 parents love you, and then there's going to be 4 or 5 that just do not like you and think that you're the worst coach in the world. And if you allow that to tear you down, and you worry about those 5 rather than the 10 or the hundreds that you have impacted, then it'll be a tough profession to kind of continue in. And so I think, for me, it's be yourself. Don't try to change what you do or your personality because someone else tells you need to do it like this. I've learned early in my years, Coach Jim Kessler, head coach at Grace College, told me if you go into this profession, you do you and don't back down. And I know I had a tough decision when I was a coach at Indiana Wesleyan when I had to resign and leave. But I stayed true to what Coach told me and what the Lord has given me the abilities to coach. And when I resigned, I had a job within a couple months as a head coach up at Trinity International University in Chicago. And so the Lord blessed me, and I've still been a head coach all these years. And so I feel like I've stayed true to what I feel is important as a coach, and that's developing young men and women. I may not be the strongest discipliner and make us run till we puke and get on them, but I definitely want to make sure that they enjoy the game as they play it. But also, I'm big on details and making sure that they have those down over and over. What kinds of people do well in this industry? The ones who are passionate about teaching the game of basketball and developing young people's lives over wins and losses. I think if you get caught up in going into this profession to be the winningest coach in the history, I think that's a good goal. but I think it'll wear you down. I think burnout is real, and I think you got to make sure that, like I was saying before, if you have a family, they have to be your priority. My one rule was I try not to take work home with me and sit at home and watch game video and prepare for practice and all that stuff. When I went home, I tried to be home with my kids and with my wife. Second thing, you got to love this game. Driving 3 hours one way to watch a kid play and don't think they can fit in your program, you got to drive 3 hours back. And so you do that for many, many years. And so you kind of know when it's done. I've heard you kind of know when to retire and be done coaching. Right now, I have too much passion for this game. I enjoy going out recruiting, enjoy teaching the game every day. And so I think if you're going in this profession, you got to just have a love and passion for it and be excited to get up every day and go to work and teach these kids how to play the game, but also teach them the game of life. What's your ultimate career goal working in the career of sports? I've been living it for the past 28 years. I became a head coach at age 25 and still going. I want my legacy to show that I cared for my men and my women lives outside of basketball, and they are productive husbands and wives, moms and dads, and making a difference in our society. That is my ultimate goal in my career. And at this point, I feel like I've accomplished most of that. I enjoy when I get emails and letters and Facebook messages about my past players getting married or having children or getting a new job. That brings joy to me. And so if I had to say my ultimate career goal is to know that when I'm done, I did my job well, and that these kids enjoyed playing the game. I didn't make everybody happy, and probably a lot of them don't like Coach Bloom, but I think a majority of them had a great experience. And you know, Travis McAvene is one that I've been proud of him and just the way that he has pursued his passion to coach basketball, and he's been in this profession too, and we've stayed friends and stayed in contact and done some things together. So I appreciate him asking me to do this for him. I pray that he finishes this degree and continues his ultimate career goal and become a head coach at the college level again, and I know he will. So thank you, Travis, for this opportunity, and I pray your career and your
What is your full
adventures are
name,
blessed.
job title,
Thank you.
and where you currently work?
Andre Smith. I'm currently the athletic director at Bryan and Stratton Community College in Solon, Ohio.
How did you get into this line of work?
Ever since I was a college athlete at Youngstown State, and once I finished my professional playing career, I've always envisioned on being a college coach or some type of coach. I had the opportunity to jump right in at an early age at my alma mater, Youngstown State, and begin my coaching career there. So it's always been a passion of mine to coach the game that did so much for me, that opened so many doors, to give back. It was another way for me to just stay within the game and be around others and other coaches and learn.
What do you enjoy about it?
The opportunity to grow, the opportunity to see young men or young women do something that they like, to increase their passion, the teaching aspect of it, being able to teach the game, being able to continue to show people how the game is played, being able to strategize and break down film in the component aspect, it allows me to enjoy it from an A to Z perspective.
What's changing in the spectrum?
I just think the way the game is played, how the kids are being taught, the social media has played a big impact on it now. And as you see in the college game, the NILs of the payments of what people are doing, I think kids now are looking at the financial aspect, which I think they should, more than the importance of the game and choosing the institutions. As you see now, the transfer pool is going now. Kids don't like situations, don't like coaches. It's making it easier for kids to leave situations, which sometimes has hurt the game, as you see, not just on the college game, but in the professional ranks now. I think a lot of the college players have a lot more say so in things. That's why you see a lot of trades and a lot of people are moving from situation or institution to institution.
What's the most challenging part of your job?
The most challenging part now, being an athletic director at the college rank, is the compliance, the paperwork, staying on top of breast like that. Because as the athletic director, you're in charge of kids being eligible or not eligible, making sure that they're doing the things that they're supposed to do to keep them on track of graduation. And part of it is when you're the athletic director, you're kind of on the other spectrum of it. You don't really have a lot of hands-on with the athletes because you're doing the more the day-to-day, the administration work. So it doesn't allow you to have the hands-on experience that you would do if you were coaching.
What kinds of people do well in this industry?
Number one, I believe that understand athletics, understand the student athlete, understand what goes on to be a student athlete. Individuals that have a passion for it, ones that have the understanding, the ones that can have a lot of patience, because you have to have a lot of patience dealing not only with the student athlete, you're dealing with professors, you're dealing with parents, you're dealing with other universities, organizations, officials, administration. So having a lot of patience, understanding is some of the key points.
What's your ultimate career goal working in this career of sports?
It's continue to grow, continue to be an athletic director. I've been a general manager in some professional leagues. So I think continue to grow, get to the highest level I can in some point of administration. If it's at the professional level, being a general manager, we'd love to still get back into the coaching realm of it. But I think being an athletic director is one of my goals, the goals that I've achieved. It may be to get to a higher level, meaning higher than the junior college level, where obviously you have more resources and more staff, but it also allows you to interact and network with others.
Pros and cons of being a sports agent and the pay structure. So the higher you get your client, your athlete, a playing contract, 10% of it you make. So if you're getting him a $10,000 a month playing opportunity, you make 10% of it, which is $1,000. So if you have 6 such clients who you are able to find a playing contract of that amount, then you're making easily about $5,000 to $6,000. But if you are sending him to a league where he is paid $1,200 a month, then you're getting only $120 of him. So that's something that you have to work on, signing up the best talent. Don't just sign up any talent, because you can have 100 clients, but can you find a playing opportunity for 100 clients? So you rather have 5 clients who are one of the best potential talents, and then find those 5 a playing opportunity. And the majority of the revenues that an athlete earns is from his off the field playing contracts. So if I can give you an example, Roger Federer made only $35,000 in prize money by playing tennis, but he made $90 million from his off the field assignments. So as an agent, if you can find your athlete, your player, a professional endorsement somewhere, a sponsorship, an advertisement, a contract where he can go and make some extra money, this is where as an agent you can have a 30% commission on that. So for example, if you find him $100,000 advertisement endorsement, commercial endorsement from some sneaker company, any company for example, you stand to make about $30,000, $20,000 at one go from that. And you can maximize his earnings by improving his social media profile, his public profile, etc., getting more of the field opportunities. That's where you make the maximum money. But as an agent, under FIBA rules, you cannot charge a player more than 10% of his paying contract. So this is the cons and the pro of being a sports agent.
Hi, my name is Mark Davenport, CEO of DTR Sports, based out of New York City. DTR Sports is a sports agency that manages professional athletes who play overseas in different countries, regulated under the FIBA rule. Some of my players play in Europe. Some of my players play in South America. Some are in Asia. I've connected with different people around the world who've helped me to place these players, and I've connected with different agencies and that are bigger than me. In order to place these players, there's different agencies, like specifically in Europe, where you kind of have to use your connections in order to get guys. So some of the pros and cons about this industry are, I think, I'll say some of the pros. It gives athletes an opportunity to continue to play basketball after college. It gives guys an opportunity to continue to grow and learn themselves and expand their horizon. You get to travel the world. I think that's one of the keys for a lot of my clients. They get a chance to actually see, outside of their, upbringing and what they know from their day to day. I think some of the other pros is guys that get to learn different brands of basketball. For some of my guys who are looking to transition into becoming coaches, their knowledge of the game is very vast because they've played in different countries. So they know, so many different angles about how to approach the game and how to teach players to look at the game. And they also, give the pros and cons essentially from a player's vantage of what overseas basketball looks like. Some of the cons I think are it's very it's a very flaky market. It's a very a volatile market, if you would say. Coaches lose jobs all the time. Players don't get paid on time. Some don't get paid at all. They don't make a lot of money sometimes, depending on the level. If you're at a really, really high level, then you'll make a solid amount of money. It's a solid income. If you're at the middle level, where I feel like a lot of my guys are, or the middle lower level, they struggle. They make a couple $1,000 a month, but they're building their resume so that they're getting a chance to really learn. I think sometimes the living conditions can be very difficult. The food, the teams will promise that they'll feed the players and house the players, but the housing, I wouldn't say it's deplorable, but it's not up to par. I think us being Americans, we can definitely say that we're a little spoiled, and traveling outside of the country is very difficult if we're not used to living in those third world countries essentially, which a lot of these teams are in. So I think that can be a big a big con for a lot of my guys. Obviously the food, language barrier is always a difficult thing, but outside of it, a lot of it all depends. It all varies on team to team, country to country, because some guys have great experiences, other guys have horrible experiences, and there's no real universal in international basketball because there's so many different territories. As if you're comparing it to the NBA, where there's one solid structure. Every team does do things differently, but there's kind of a basis structure of how they do business. And I think that's the difference between the NBA and playing overseas basketball. And lastly, I would like to hit on the pay scale and the pay structure of the playing under the FIBA regulations in different countries. And I'll kind of break it down by region and by levels, because I mentioned levels earlier, but by region, European players get paid, not European players, but European teams. So that's your highest level that you're going to get playing internationally, in my opinion. And that is your Spain's, your France's, Israel's, which is considered kind of like the Middle East, Asia. Some of the Middle Eastern countries do pay a good amount of money. But when you're going to get talent, where talent meets pay, I think it would be some of the higher European teams. Some Turkey teams pay pretty well. And that could be upwards from $1 million a year to $2 million. Some guys get paid, a decent amount of money. International guys don't get paid as much because it's the transports, but they get a solid amount of money. And I think After that, you have your second level guys who some guys get 10,000 a month. Some guys can see, 5,000 a month, 2,000 a month. I know in South America, top level in South America, you can make a solid amount of money. One guy that I did manage, I didn't represent him directly, but I managed him. He was making about 10,000 in Puerto Rico a month. So his contract for the season was 100,000. So he made 10,000, and I think that's decent money for 9 to 10 months. I think that's great money to play a sport. And then there's guys that's at the level where they're, offering $800 to $1,000 a month. And that's a super, super low level. And there's guys from like the Division III college levels, Division II college levels, even some Division Is that have to take that in order to build themselves up and build their resume. So I think there's a lot of guys right now. Some are a part of my agency, some aren't. Some guys in my agency are making some solid money, and then some are still trying to get to that next level. But I think the pay structure is very vast, and it's not like the NBA, not whatsoever, because there's so many different moving parts.
My name is Kiana Bickham. I'm the senior program coordinator here at Dakota Center. Started out working with the after school program, which is our youth program here. My first year here, we started a basketball program from the ground up. Before in the past, Dakota Center was known for basketball, so we wanted to bring that back to the community. It was very hard doing it from the ground up because you have to have a lot of volunteers and a lot of supporters to help build the program, recruiting the kids. It was really hard because we had to get back into the neighborhoods, find the kids that were interested, and be able to find funding to help support the program. Our first 4 years of basketball was funded strictly by the parents, donations from organizations and the parent support. Going into our 5th to 6th year, we were able to get funding from some donors, local donors who wanted to sponsor a basketball team, which we did that, and now our program have grown. I would say to anyone that wants to work for a nonprofit or has a desire to work for a nonprofit, you always go into the mindset that you're going into this not trying to make a lot of money. With nonprofit, there's not a whole lot of money in it, but it can be very rewarding because you're helping people in your community. You're helping your families, and you're helping your mom, so the kids are getting their needs met, and that's at the end a reward that's more than pay. There's sometimes you're gonna work countless hours to make sure your program is running sufficient and make sure everybody have what they need, and it could be outside of the 40-hour week that you have envisioned, but a lot of time that you spend working for a nonprofit is a lot of volunteer hours, blood, sweat, and tears, and with little pay. So for anybody that wants to do nonprofit, wants to look in a career in a nonprofit, always going with the mindset of empathy and always going in with an open heart and open mind and finding out what the community needs are. Thank you.
My takeaway message from listening to all the speakers that I interviewed for this capstone video for this course, all emphasized major key points that I agree with and have definitely experienced throughout my 25-year basketball coaching career. They all had great networking skills, which has allowed them to move up the ladder throughout their entire career. I think that's so important, is to network with the right people and put yourself in the right circle. Dedication and hard work were all key attributes for each person throughout this video. Everybody has a relentless work ethic and is driven to go after their goals. The one point that stood out to me the best was all of them, all the speakers had the ability to deal well with different athletes and different people, to make themselves well-rounded and be flexible. to have a great career in sports. Lastly, a lot of coaches do things as far as for the love of the game rather than, or love of sports, period, rather than for the pay. And each speaker that I got a chance to interview throughout this Capstone video all expressed that they started out not making much money, but have increased pay throughout the years the more that they put themselves in demand. So I agree with that. I'm definitely a person that as time has gone by, I have got paid more and more and more for the quality of work that I do, but it never has been about the money. It's because I love the game of basketball and definitely enjoy helping people go after their career goals and aspirations. So hopefully, after watching all these speakers talk throughout this Capstone video, it gives you a better insight to why you would want to get involved in the world of having a career in sports.
My name's Aaron Maxey. I'm a retired 20-year professional overseas basketball player, and I met Coach Mack in 2016. And to me, the reason why he's such a great coach and he's had longevity is the fact that he's actually a player's coach. And when I say player's coach, he actually knows how to deal with veteran players as well as newbies that are fresh out of school who don't understand the game. With those newbies, he's able to instruct them to understand and learn how to play the game of basketball. And being a people person, he actually knows how to listen and hear what people have to say to be able to place them in the right places. From a veteran standpoint, Coach Mackey knows how to manage. Veteran players, we've been through the wars, we know what it takes to win. And what he does is he actually knows how to manage us and to know when to allow the reins to be free, and then at the same time knowing when to pull them back to regain control over the team so that we can actually run a long set, have a good possession to be able to actually score when we need to score or get a defensive stop when we need that defensive stop. The reason why Coach Mack has had longevity in the game as long as he has is, one, he's a people person. Number two, he understands the business. And number three, he'll do whatever it takes for his team to be able to have success. That's late nights doing video scouting, doing player personnel scouting reports, being able to be there actually for players who may have issues with families, might be a newbie who doesn't understand how to balance their budget. Coach Mack, he does all these things for the goodness of his team because he wants them to have success. And he's also a family man. Not only does he have a college-age daughter, at the same time, he takes each and every one of his teams and he treats everyone like family. And that's the reason why he's been able to have this success as long as he has. As a head coach, he's excellent because he does listen. He has the tactical skills to be able to lead teams to championships. He's a championship level coach. He has multiple titles under his belt. And as far as for me being a veteran player of 20 years, a retired player, whenever Coach Mack reaches out to me, whether it's talking X's and O's or just talking about life, I'm always learning something from him because he's been in the game for so long and he's very knowledgeable.
How you doing? My name is Marcus Rhodes, and my experience from playing under Coach Mack, it was very challenging. It was very challenging. It was fun. We won a lot of games. He held every player accountable. And he also gave everybody a fair opportunity to get better and a fair opportunity to gain playing time. My opinion of Coach Mack as a coach, he was a coach, but he was also a father figure. He was a mentor. He just always got the best out of everybody, and he always challenged everybody. I think that Coach Mack, he has always succeeded as a coach because he was always fair. I felt like he gave everybody a fair shot, and everybody respected him for that. And I just strongly believe, as long as I've known Coach Mack, which I've known him for a while, he's always led. He's always brought more opportunities for me and my buddies, my teammates. He just always opened up doors for me and everybody around him. And I think that's why he's always been a successful coach, ambassador, and everything else he is. Yeah, that's Coach Mac for you. Thank you.
How you doing? My name is Chris Owens, former NBA player, former European player. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Coach. First, I played at the University of Texas, when drafted to Milwaukee, traded to Memphis, spent a couple years there, went overseas, played all over Europe, and I had the opportunity to play with Coach, or play for Coach, on a special trip representing USA in Taiwan. In my opinion, Coach is a really, really good coach at being able to, just be innovative with his schemes and his game plans, and being intense and into the game, and being able to make proper adjustments. Overall, he's a great guy. He's what I like to call a player's coach, always attentive to the game, but as well as to the players and the players' need. My experience with Coach has always been a great one. He's a great man, great guy, and that's important to me because it's not only about coaching but also building up young men. I think Coach did an excellent job and still continues to do such a good job with young players, and look forward to his next endeavor in the future. All right, thank you.
I believe Coach McAvene will aspire to high levels. Anytime you have a passion for what you do, you're good at it, you're knowledgeable about it, people can see your passion in what you're doing. I just think the sky's the limits, and he's no different. I can easily see him being a Division I college coach, a professional coach. I think that when you pull back the layers of who somebody is, it becomes clear that basketball is a huge part of his life, his knowledge of the game, how he interacts with coaches, directors of other programs. You look at his resume of where he's been over the years, and he has a vast knowledge of basketball at multiple levels. And so I think when you take that and mix it in with a love for kids, a love for the game, I just think that sky's the limit. And once he completes his academic requirements, I just think sky's the limit for Coach McAvene. And of course, as a fan of his, a fellow coach, a friend, I wish him nothing but the best.
Good morning. I have competed as a coach against Travis since 2005 when I was the head coach at Millersburg Military Institute. We ran a prep school program. He was at Harmony Prep and Christian Center. It's been about maybe 18 years. I was very impressed with the players he had, but I'm an old school coach, and I was more impressed with what they ran, how well he coached his team, and how hard that they played, and also his ability to find places for his kids. But most of all, as a coach, you want to make sure you have control of your team. And he seemed to do that, and he had great connections and a great chemistry, and we became friends and have remained to this day. I think he's one of the reasons that he's so successful is because he works hard. Working hard is a skill, and Travis has definitely defined that. He works at his skill, and he has passion. And once you have passion for anything, you're able to to do a lot of stuff. You're able to be successful. And his success has been, he's worked with kids of all ages. He's been successful, and he's gotten a lot of experience. It's because of his personality. People tend to go toward him. He's a leader, without a doubt. Empathy, and all those things, they fall right in line with what Travis does. My name is Lynn Ramage. I've been coaching for over 35 years. I've been a head coach at every level, Division I, II, III, JUCO. I'm out here in Arizona, and I have lots of experience. I've had young players in the pros, Montrezl Harrell, coached at 5-star, done camps in Switzerland, all in Trinidad, on my way to Colombia and Poland this summer, as well as Trinidad, to do more camps. I highly recommend him. He's an awesome coach. a leader, and he's always in the mix, and I think he'd be an excellent candidate. I just really have a lot of respect for him and love following him, and would be more than happy to say anything about him. Feel free to call me at 336-202-8700. And once again, my name is Len Ramage. Have a great day.
In conclusion, I hope this Capstone project video on the topic of having a career in sports was very insightful and educational on what it means to have a career in sports, and also what it means to be successful, and also overcome some adversities throughout your career at times, and give you a better understanding of maybe what career path you want to choose moving forward in your future, and choosing a career in sports.